The never-ending debate. Is The Sims 4 the worst Sims game ever? Some say it's a step down from The Sims 3, and some say it is the best Sims game ever made. So, The Sims 4, it's a game that has sparked creativity among players. It has enabled many things that we could not do in The Sims 3 or previous Sims generations. So, in the last year alone, The Sims had earned around 50,000 players, new players. In the previous generations, you had to pay for the base game to be able to play it. Now, it is free to play for everyone. In this video, we're gonna break down the features of The Sims 4, its ups and downs, to decide whether it's the best Sims game ever made. So first off, let's talk about Create a Sim. In The Sims 4, Create a Sim is very creative and very detailed because you can adjust your Sims looks and shapes and drop. It's no longer slides like in the previous Sims generations. As you can see here, you can do everything, go into detailed mode and adjust every little detail about your Sim. Not only this, but in The Sims 4 they have added new accessories and things to the base game without using any mods, like being able to add fingernails, nail polish or anything. So this is something very great about The Sims 4, having all of these features in Create a Sim in the base game only. In Create a Sim you can also customize voices. I know this was in The Sims 3 already, but in The Sims 4 it is more detailed and you have more customization over the voice. You have the option to choose from multiple voices for your sim. You can also, I know this is old, but it is a very cool feature in The Sims 4, the walk style. This is something that we were all hyped about at the release of The Sims 4. So the walk styles of your sim can be decided in Create a Sim. They are also added new ones with expansion packs such as the Vampire one, as you can see here. Also, the gender limitation that was in previous Sims games. Now in the Sims 4 you can choose and customize details about your sim, like their sexual orientation, the romantic boundaries, the gender, whether they can use the toilet standing or not, whether they can produce milk or not, whether they will be able to get pregnant or not. So these limitations that were there in the previous Sims games are no longer in The Sims 4. Also, now the trait system in The Sims 4 is the more dynamic, and the ability to be able to change your aspiration later on in the gameplay is really cool. You don't have to be stuck with a lifetime aspiration during your gameplay. You can choose and change your aspiration at any time in the game, which is something really cool. And the preference system, so the turn on and turn off, the what your sim likes, what they don't like, and this affects your gameplay. So when you go and start playing with your sims, what they like and they don't like affects their emotions. And also, one very minor but cool feature in Create a Sim is the pronouns. You can choose the pronouns of your sim to fit their sexual orientation or to fit their gender identity. So the first cool thing in build mode that was released with the game is the ability to create rounded rooms or rounded balconies, which was something really fun and really nice. Now it enables creativity. We weren't able to do that in previous Sims games, so in my opinion this is a very cool feature and very needed by the builders who play The Sims. Another thing about The Sims 4 that I really like is the customization options and allowing players to edit their builds without having to redo it all over again. Let me give you a quick example what I mean. So let's say that you have built a house but you forgot to put the platform underneath. So in previous Sims games, you should delete the platform, the entire house, and build the platform first, then build the house on top. In The Sims 4, you don't have to do that anymore. So what you can do is just build your house. You forgot about the platform, no issues at all. You can just drag the slider here and it will raise your house. And the cool thing is, as you can see what I did here, I was able to raise one room only. It did not raise the entire house. And I can do that for each house if for each room if the rooms are separated, or I can just raise the platform inside the room without having to raise the platform outside. So if you can see here, I am raising this platform for this individual room without raising the entire platform of the house. So this is two separate sliders that enable you to be creative with your builds. One cool thing also is the ability to add columns to the corners of your fences. You had to use cheats in the previous Sims games to be able to do that, but in the Sims 4 no cheats are needed. As you can see here, I am attaching and it adapts very well to my fences. So this is a very cool feature. Also, in here you don't have to use the wall drag tool to be able to build rooms anymore, because let's say that you built another room here but you don't like the placement of this room, so you can easily go ahead and select your room, move it, drag it to wherever you want it to be, and there it is. It's just that simple to switch rooms and edit your house. One thing that we should mention here is that the terrain tools were not there when the game was first released. So if you were there when The Sims 4 was released, you were not able to do any of these terrain. I'm not a person who uses the terrain tools at all, but when the game was first released, these things were not even there, along with toddlers, ghosts, whatever it is. They weren't there. They were added later in a patch. So now we can call this The Sims 4 complete when we had these, but when the game was first released, it did not have any of these tools. Another cool thing about The Sims 4 is the lot info panel. So in this panel, you can select the type of your lot, which you were able to do in the previous Sims games, but you can also see the requirements for this lot, and you can also add lot traits. Lot traits affect the gameplay, affect the way your Sims live in the lot. So there are a lot of traits that were added even with new expansion packs. So new expansion packs, every DLC, sometimes they add new lot traits for that DLC. Another cool thing is the ability to move your house. So if you want to move the lot, you can do that, which obviously you were able to do in the previous Sims games. One very minor but very cool feature that was there when the Sims 4 was released, it is the ability to change the time of day to see how your bed looks like at different times in the day. So this is the morning, we can see it in the afternoon, we can see it in the evening, we can see it at night. So this is really cool if you want to test the lights out, if you want to see, if you want more color to when you're painting your house. So this is a really cool feature for build mode. And one more thing that's really exciting about this game is the wall height. So you can choose between short, medium and tall walls for your house, for each level of your house, which is something really fantastic and really cool. Another very cool thing about the game is the emotions. So this was never introduced in the previous Sims generations, but it was a huge deal when The Sims 4 was released. So as you can see here, your Sims have emotions and they affect their interactions with anything in a very dynamic way. So if your Sim is uncomfortable because they are sleepy, or because if your Sim is uncomfortable because they are very sleepy, or because they didn't use the toilet, or because they are starving, or if your Sim is feeling energized because they just had their morning coffee, it will affect their interactions with the games. Like they will not be able to go and explore some of the things around the world because they are too uncomfortable. They can take a brisk shower because they are feeling energized. So this is really fun and fantastic for the gameplay. So as you can see here, my Sim is feeling uncomfortable because of the decor. So these very tiny details affect your gameplay and affect the quality of your gameplay and what you're trying to produce. Also, the traits, not only the traits that you select during create a sim can be there when your sim interacts with life and starts experiencing more dynamics, they will unlock hidden traits and they will have these traits appear here in your Simology, their likes and dislikes. Their relationship preferences are there. I believe this is something that was added with the Love Struck expansion pack. But yeah, we're talking about the basics that come with the Sims 4 base game. The things that we're gonna talk about next are things that were added with DLCs, but they are fantastic and cool features in the game. The ability to create groups, social groups that came with Get Together is really fun, especially for your teenagers if you're trying to, create a group and have them hang out or something. This is really cool feature. Also, the retail system in the Sims 4 is much better and unlimited like in the Sims 3. Here you can own a restaurant, you can own a retail store, you can own anything you want. You can own a vet if you have the Sims 4 cats and dogs. So the retail system here is much more neat and much more enjoyable than the previous Sims generations. And now we're gonna be talking about something very important for those who use mods. So creating mods in The Sims 4 is much easier, and I don't have the knowledge about it, but I believe that EA is works closely with modders and mod creators to enable them to create mods that work perfectly with the game and has no issues. I think there is some like area in the with EA that modders use to create their mods, which makes it easier than the previous generations. And you always get these warnings about mods if you update your game that they are going to be broken, and modders go ahead and update their mods, which you have to update in turn after updating your game. So yeah, mods in The Sims 4 are a pretty big deal, and it is very acknowledged by EA themselves. EA always releases new expansion packs or DLC for The Sims 4, which adds new fun ways to play, honestly, with the game. I like the packs of The Sims 4, and I like what they add to the game, like the eco footprint. It was a really fun pack to have. The of course the seasons and cats and dogs, that's essential for any Sims game. The new expansion pack, Life and Death, that's something we've never witnessed before, and it was really fun and really exciting to play with. Now we have talked about the pros of The Sims 4, but there are a lot of cons as well to the game. So let's first start with the fact that the game does not have an open world like The Sims 3. Yes, The Sims 4, when you play with your Sims, you are locked in a house, and whenever, even if you wanted to visit the lot adjacent to your house, you have to go through a loading screen to visit that lot. This can be irritating for players, and if you have more DLCs installed with The Sims 4, the loading screens can take a longer time to process than usual. It shouldn't take that long, but if you don't have a high-end computer, it is gonna take a few seconds. It wouldn't reach a minute, but it might take a few seconds to go through the loading screen, which is something a little bit frustrating comparing it to The Sims 3. We had an open world and we can travel to anywhere we want in the world without having to go through loading screens. But in The Sims 4, you can choose to any world in the game, unlike in The Sims 3, you are only stuck with the world that you are playing in, and you can go only on vacation to other worlds that came, I believe, with The Sims 3 World Adventures, to the University World. But here in The Sims 4, you can basically travel to any world you want. Another thing that I personally think is a step down for The Sims 4 is the graphics of the game. I love The Sims 4, do not get me wrong, do not come at me, but the look of the graphics of your Sims and the furniture in The Sims 4 are just not as realistic as they used to be in The Sims 3. They are more cartoony look. I know the graphics improved since the game was released, but in The Sims 3 they were more realistic, more as a simulation game. These things do really matter. These details do really matter. The biggest constraint in The Sims 4 is the customization tool. We do not have the color wheel in The Sims 4 to customize colors, to customize things. They added this recently to one of the aspects in create a sim, but it's not there in build mode. You cannot change the color of the items that you have, which is a very big drawback in The Sims 4. We used to be able to change the color of anything in The Sims 3, and I personally thought that it would be present in The Sims 4, but unfortunately it's not there. Even 10 years later, we still do not have the option to change the colors of our items in The Sims 4. One thing that really bothers me about the DLCs of The Sims 4 is how EA is splitting the features that comes in DLCs into multiple DLCs. For example, in The Sims 3, we had one pack for the supernatural and occults. It's called The Sims 3 Supernaturals. We had vampires, we had fairies, we had witches, we had werewolves. They were all in one pack. But in The Sims 4, this is not the case. We have a pack for each occult. So we have a pack for werewolves, we have a pack for witches, which is called the Realm of Magic. We have a pack for... They are trying to split these features into multiple packs, which makes you have to pay more money to get these gameplay features. Unlike in The Sims 3, we had many features come in one pack, which was really fun. Finally, let's talk about the bugs in The Sims 4. Every Sims game has its bugs, I know, but in The Sims 4 there are a lot of bugs that has to be fixed. We have seen some in the legacy challenge that we were doing, where my Sims would even try to shake hands or hug each other. That would be like from far away. There would be distance between my Sims, which is not realistic. I don't know how that bug is there. Another bug is when your Sims would get stuck. Like my Sim, I would tell my Sim to do something, and as soon as I move the camera out of the house to go into the neighborhood, all the interactions that I had selected for my Sim would be cancelled. I have to have the camera on them to be able to do these actions, which is something really annoying if you want to explore the unopened world that we have. I don't use the mods as I mentioned before, but I believe if you use mods you will have even more and more bugs and glitches in the game. I really hope that EA can fix these bugs and have us have the best experience playing The Sims 4. The Sims 4 improved a lot of things in build mode, create a sim, in the gameplay itself. I know it lacks some of the stuff that we previously enjoyed in The Sims 3 and The Sims 2, but I hope these can be added later in patches, and the game is really great. Don't get me wrong, I know we are talking about the pros and cons here, and I mentioned a lot of cons of The Sims 4, but it's a really great game and it has a great storytelling, unlike the previous generations, especially with the introduction of emotions to the game. So I really hope you find this video useful, and if you are trying to decide whether to play The Sims 4 or just play the previous games. I love the previous games, I love The Sims 4. So this is my honest opinion about it, a review of some of the features that it has to offer. It has a lot to offer. And yeah, I really hope you find this video very useful to you, and I hope you like it. Please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos.